She spread lies about me to people I didn't know. Gave others my number in Snapchat. My phone started blowing up with texts and notifications from unknown numbers. By the end of that school year, I was gone, and I was depressed. Hi, I'm Holly, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, what I do is people anonymously send me emails about their struggles or whatever, and I share them. If you want to submit, details are in the description. I'll be reading 2 entries today. Both are about people whose lives have been ruined by their so-called best friends, making school and their lives unbearable. So essentially, friend drama, which apparently you all love hearing, and honestly, same. The 2 entries are similar, but they do end a bit differently, so stay tuned for that. But before I start, I got my first sponsorship, and it's CBD products. If you plan on skipping this part, at least hear me out for the next few seconds. I was always iffy about taking sponsorships because I didn't want to be a sellout and honestly just didn't feel that right to me. I actually made this company wait over 3 months before I gave them a definite answer. But then I looked more into their products and I realized that they could actually seriously help my viewers. So the next step was to ask for a discount, obviously, for you guys, and they very kindly gave me one. If you don't know what CBD is, it's basically a component of hemp, which is almost the same thing as marijuana. The only difference is that it doesn't have a high concentration of THC, which is the thing that gets you high. So you get all of the benefits without getting high. It can help with sleep problems, anxiety, stress, pain, a whole list of things. So this is the oil, and you put this under the tongue. These are the gummies, which you obviously just eat them, and they're actually really good. I thought they were going to be disgusting because, I'm going to be honest, usually CBD products are, like, they just have really bad taste, but these were good. And then a CBD bath bomb, which I had no idea that these even existed, but I don't even know how to honestly express to you guys. This is the best smelling bath bomb I have ever had in my entire life. It smells so good. It's the almond coconut one. I've used CBD in the past to help with my sleep issues because I've always had trouble falling asleep. And it actually was effective, but I stopped because I just couldn't stand the taste. With Premium Jane, I could actually stand it. I got the mint flavored oil and it's actually bearable. It's good. And even if I couldn't, I didn't care because I would just take the gummies, which I actually prefer the gummies. They're just really good and they're easy. I've been taking the gummies this past week and a half, and it's actually been helping me. Honestly, truthfully, it's been helping me. The thing about CBD is it doesn't make you tired. That's a common misconception. It just induces feelings of relaxation and calmness. So you can actually take them during the day, which I do. If this is something that you want to explore and look into, and again, I truly believe in this. I believe it can help you guys. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't think so. Visit premiumjane.com and use code DIARY to get 20% off. That is not a code that I'm personally benefiting off of. It's just a cute code that they named and just so you guys can get your discount. Okay, let's start the entry. Dear Diary, no one knows. No one knows that every day when I get out of bed, dried tears lay on my cheeks. No one knows that while I'm happy for those around me, I'm fading on the inside. I feel like pieces of who I was are gone, slipping away as I lose myself to something I know I can't beat. A darkness, a sadness. It all started when I went to school one day after homecoming my freshman year. I received dirty looks from my closest friend, someone I felt as though would always be an anchor, someone who knew my darkest depths. Soon it spread from her to our other friends, to friends of friends, till it felt like I was under a microscope of glaring eyes and ignoring turns of heads. It got to the point where I had no one to talk to, and I mean it literally. The people I would go to for anything were the first to turn their backs. And the worst thing of all is I didn't know what I did. I texted and texted asking what I did wrong, worrying that I had effed everything up. The only thing I got back was read or opened. She spread lies about me to people I didn't know, gave others my number in Snapchat. My phone started blowing up with texts and notifications from unknown numbers calling me a whore and a homewrecker. So many words, and I still didn't understand the motive. Rumors were spread, and I would make myself sick to stay at home. I wouldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. I could barely find it in me to talk. I felt hollow. I shut myself out just like everyone else had. Months passed, and I heard the girl I once called my best friend was moving. A week before she left, she sent me a text that I can't even read without feeling pathetic and weak. A text that I still can't read all the way through without breaking down. It read along the lines of why I had talked to a guy homecoming night, who she had a crush on, and that I was a B to ever do that to her. I had been talking to this guy about her too, because I knew she liked him. I remember asking what he thought about her. He said that she was chill. She left me on red when I explained and didn't talk to any of our past friends her last week. When she left, no one heard from her for about a month. My groups of friends slowly realized what had happened, and things were slowly going back to how they were, until she texted me one short text. "Can we call?" It shocked me that I didn't respond for an hour or two. I was scared that hearing her again would shock everyone back, as if they would hear her too. I was scared things would fall apart again. I was so scared. But we called and she apologized. She was crying, sometimes so hard I couldn't understand. I had shed so many tears over her that I couldn't find anything left in me. I once again felt hollow. But when I asked why, she gave me such a strong answer with so much confidence that it hurt. She said she wanted to ruin my life. And whether it was past tense or present, I knew I could never forgive her. She continued to tell me everything she said about me to almost everyone. She said she had made actual plans to tear my life apart. When it was finally my turn to talk to her, I told her the truth about how I felt as though she stole everything from me, including myself. How she made me want to take my own life. How I felt my life wasn't valid. I told her everything because I had someone willing to listen after so long. Someone who actually understood to a degree. And she was sorry, and I know that. And as much as I love her for who she is becoming and who she was before she lost herself, I can never forgive her. She took something I don't think I will ever be able to find again. She made me feel like I can never confide in another human again. I can't talk to a single friend I have now about how I feel anymore. And it's not because of them. No matter how much trust I hold, I can't speak without choking up. She pushed me to the edge of a cliff and waited for me to take the last step. And the fact that I can't forgive her might be the last step. Because it destroys me inside, knowing she's sorry, and I can't even say, "I forgive you." Sincerely, A. This is honestly one of the worst things that you could do to a person, and that's tearing someone's life apart when they haven't done a single thing wrong. I'm really happy this person had a chance to talk to this best friend to get some sort of closure, but I do have something to say about the forgiveness part. A, please work towards forgiveness. I know it's not easy, but like you said, I really do think it's the last step to actually closing this chapter. Remember that forgiveness isn't saying that what she did was okay. If you look at the definition of forgiveness, it's actually to stop feeling angry or resentful towards someone. That's what you should work on, not for her, but for you. Because in a small way, she's still winning with you walking around with these feelings. It's also easy to think that people who do these things are just doing them to ruin others' lives. But what I've learned is that 99% of the time, people are doing this because it's coming from some hurt in their own lives or some insecurity, or they're just overly defending themselves because they're in that low of a place. And obviously, there are victims of that, and you were one of them. But I don't think that says so much about you. I think that just says a lot about her. I know I say that all the time, but it's so true. If her own life and self-esteem was that deep in the pits that she had to do that to you, honey, feel sorry for her because that's pathetic. Not many people survive something like that, but you did. You did that. You were dealt one pretty freaking crappy hand, and you still came out on the other side. Focus on that. The next entry is similar. It's more tea. Again, this is from a completely different person. Dear Diary, hi, I'm not sure how to start this, but I guess I should start from where the pain started. It was a little over a year ago, after an amazing previous year, and I had just gotten into a huge fight with someone in my friend group. She, we'll call her J, called me rude, obnoxious, ugly, and a terrible friend. She said that I wasn't a good person and didn't deserve friends. I was so confused on where this was coming from because we never had problems before this. She texted this out of nowhere, and I was so nervous about what everyone else in the group would think. The truth is, nobody brought it up, but I could tell they were slowly choosing her over me, which hurt so much. I had never been a really sad child or a teenager, but after starting to lose this group, I noticed a change in me. I became less confident, more anxious, and just started hating everything. I eventually confronted the other two people in the group about the situation between me and Jay, and neither of them bothered to respond. I was so hurt and confused that I completely relied on the only other friend group I had, but with them, I was just okay. I was still hurting and confused because that group had been my best friends for a very long time, and losing them took a huge toll on me, but I tried not to show it. My other friends could tell something was up, but they were all happy people, so none of them cared. They threw me to the side because I was sad, and because they didn't know what to do with me. I felt so completely alone, and everything suddenly dropped. I was numb. January of that year was when Jay sent those messages, and by April, I was completely destroyed to the point where there was no hope. My other friends were drifting away, and I no longer felt comfortable around them. They made me feel so outcasted, and maybe it was my depression or anxiety, but I just couldn't stand to be around them. Jay caused me to be so insecure about myself, and my other friends weren't helping at all. By the end of that school year, I was gone. My happy, confident, funny self was gone, and I was depressed. I cried myself to sleep every single night. I cried when I woke up, I cried in front of my parents, and I have never cried in front of them before. I still had contact with my other friends, but it wasn't until my school went on a trip that we went our separate ways. My other friends cared so little about me that they took me somewhere, then left without me. I had to call someone else I had met on the trip because I was lost and didn't want to be left behind. After that day on the trip, I was so mad and fed up with the way they were treating me. I decided I would rather be completely alone than deal with how they were treating me. But luckily, I met someone on the trip, T. Before meeting T, I was not even close to the person I used to be. I swear everything felt as if it was a routine. I got up, made my bed, went to school, came home, cried, and then went to sleep. Every day, just like the last. Then summer came. This past summer was the worst ever. I had no friends at all and was severely depressed. I really didn't think I would make it. I had suicidal thoughts and absolutely nothing was going right for me. But then I found T from the trip, and we started talking more and we became best friends. Slowly, I gained back my confidence. I'm happy now. She showed me that life was worth it. The whole point to my story is to tell anyone who would listen that it does get better. I was so low, and I met someone who completely changed everything for me. She showed me that I could be happy and that I did deserve friends. Without her, I wouldn't be here. So what I'm trying to say is don't give up hope. I know from experience that you feel like nobody will care if you died. Nobody would care if you were gone. But that is so not true. You may not have met them yet, but someone in the future will care. You will meet someone, and they will show you that you are worth the whole world, because you are. Don't give up just yet. Sincerely, C. I love this one because it shows an example of a good friend and an actual good person and how much of an impact one person can have on another person's life. I think a lot of times in middle school and in high school, we see those kids that get ignored, that no one talks to, and for some reason, we assume that we shouldn't be talking to them either, even though we have no clue why no one else is even talking to them. I think we can all look at T as an example. Be a T. Be that person that someone so desperately needs. Be the person that you would want if you were in that same situation. It can dramatically change someone's life without you ever even knowing it. A lot of the time, you don't even have to be best friends with a person to make their life better. You can just compliment them. You can just say you like their hair. You can have a good conversation with them. You can ask how they are. Those things can make someone's week, month, even life. I actually challenge you to do that. The next time we're actually in school, if we ever go back, find someone that you wouldn't normally talk to and that a lot of people maybe don't talk to, and just give them a small little compliment or ask how they are and just watch their face light up. School can be such a dark, sad place for people sometimes. Be a light for people. Imagine how differently the first submitter's life would be if just one person reached out to her and was there for her. Something to think about. So that is all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to. Follow me on all social media platforms because I share entries everywhere. And stay healthy, stay safe, and stay inside. Bye.